Hey, kids, you're listening to a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast.
Come on, baby, tell me what's the word. Word up. Everybody say, when you hear the call, you got to get it underway. Word up.
That's right, we're the Simpsons podcast that discusses the animated sitcom The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond, and the newest ones, of course, when they're available. Why do we do it this way? Well, the entity known as Wheel of Random has cursed us to only do this podcast in such a manner, because plenty of other podcasts have discussed the golden age, that means seasons 1 through 10. So we're tasked to find if there's any episodes from the latter seasons that can match those golden age episodes and put those annoying fanboys to rest, saying that The Simpsons has died. They're not. They're alive, and we're here to keep it alive. That's right. I'm one alive, annoyed grunt boy named Craig. With me is another alive grunt boy.
Hold on. One cross.
What's going
Big
on?
letters. Youngest Simpson. M-A-G-E-E. Maggie. Got it. C. One down. Power plant owner C. Blank Burns.
I think Steve is doing Sudoku, kids, word search. Yeah, it's word search.
Lizard.
Penis.
Penis.
Happiness.
Happiness. Leads. Carl's surname. Carlson.
Probably do.
Sticky substance. 3 letters. C-U-M. All right. Sorry, Craig. I was just doing a Simpsons crossword. You know, I'm almost done, but there's like one clue that I haven't figured out. It's 3 letters, and it's like initials for a bad podcast.
Is this the bit we're doing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Is it AGB, Steve? Is that the
A? Oh, yeah, you got it.
All right.
All right. Yeah, we're bad at podcasts and bad at openings.
Yeah.
That's the long and shorts of it.
Oh, because like Tim Long grew this episode on Will Shorts.
Yeah, that's right. I would like to share like an exciting story about my life, but I just go to work and then I go home and I watch The Simpsons and I do crossword puzzles, and that's basically my life. So I got nothing to share this week.
That's fine. You don't need to share everything. Except, did you get new highlights in your hair, Steve?
Oh, yes. Thank you for noticing. I wasn't just out in the sun. I actually paid to do this, and yeah, I think they look really good. I think they make me look younger.
Well, you're talking about this episode and the crosswords. I'll just do the B story, and I'll just break people up, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
What's your wife's phone number real quick?
All right. I'll give that over the podcast. Klondike 5.
Okay. KL5.
69420.
69. That's my phone number. Why
Why do you have my wife's phone number?
Steve, have you ever noticed that your wife and me have never been in the same room together?
It's true.
Oh,
I do call you Laura sometimes.
yeah.
Call Laura Craig sometimes.
Mm.
Am I like inceptioning myself? Am I a Fight Club? I think
I
I'm
don't
a
know.
Fight
This is
Club.
gross. Yeah, you're a Fight Club, Steve. Just tell yourself you're a Fight Club.
I'm a Fight Club.
You are a Fight Club. And you know what, Steve? I think people are done listening to us banter. They just want to hear us talk about this Simpsons episode that we are discussing. I should have taken a breath of air because I was about to cry. I'm not going to cry, Steve. I'm going to keep talking. That's what I do on this PCast.
Yes.
So, Steve, let's go back into time. All the way to the year 20.
Year 20.
0.
Oh, 200.
8.
Oh, 2008.
Specifically, November 16th, 2008.
Wow.
You know, Steve, we were probably living together at this time.
I think so, yeah.
Wow. Okay, Steve, I think I might be in the movie theaters by this date, Steve, because you know what the number 1 movie in the box office is?
What's that, Craig?
No, you tell me.
Oh, yeah. I think it was The Quantum of Solace.
Arguably the title of a James Bond movie.
I wouldn't argue that. I would say that's true.
I believe that was a title of a Ian Fleming short, or maybe like a chapter. Was it an actual book? I think it might have just been like a chapter.
Yeah,
But
probably.
at that time, they're like, we just need something from Fleming, you know? But James Bond titles have always been kind of goofy.
Uh-huh.
Like, what does A View to a Kill even mean?
Diamonds aren't forever.
That pussy ain't no Octo. Steve, what's your favorite James Bond title?
Probably Moonraker.
That's a good title.
Yeah, because, like, there's no plants on the moon, so how are you going to rake them? Silly.
Right. I'll say, You Only Live Twice. Sorry, Drake.
Yola.
But yeah, Quantum of Solace, weird, like, sequel to Casino Royale. And I mean, like, weird because, like, it starts, like, the second after Casino Royale ends. Mm-hmm. But then, like, Quantum of Solace was kind of like, it was kind of ruined by the fact that, like, it was during the 2008 strike, so they could, do rewrites. It's like the shortest of the Bond films, too. But it's weird because it's one of those you can't really just, like, you know, you just turn on any old Roger Moore or Sean Connery Bond and call it good. Mm-hmm. This one you have to, like, watch Casino Royale because it just isn't, like, as complete. I feel like the Daniel Craig Bond movies are very, like, hit or miss. Like, Casino Royale, great. Quantum of Solace, meh. Skyfall, awesome.
I love
Spectre, meh. You know. Then the last two...
Spectre and No Time to Die?
Yeah, No Time to... No Time to Die. Will I ever watch it again, Steve? I don't know.
Yeah, is it apocryphal to say that Skyfall might be one of my favorite Bond movies?
No, go look in the James Bond subreddits, and like Casino Royale and Skyfall are always like in the top 5.
Yeah, because I have a passing knowledge of the James Bond films. I've seen them a lot, but I'm not like as big a fan as you, and I don't know all of them. But like, you know, I've seen like Dr. No, and I've seen Goldfinger, and I've seen various others, but like Casino Royale and Skyfall are two of my favorites, and I know it's probably a little bit of recency bias, but I think they're a lot of fun.
No, they definitely are. And, you know, whenever the new Bond movie comes out, you know, obviously it's a new reboot because, spoilers, you know, the Daniel Craig Bond, quote-unquote, dies at the end of this one.
Yeah.
Or not Quantum, but No Time to Die. I guess it was time for him to die, right? I mean, I just think go back to, like, the 50s and just do a period piece Bond. Make it back in the Cold War. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Get Guy Ritchie to make it, because that movie one of my favorite movies this year was Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That was just like fun action movie. I probably talked about it already on this podcast, but
it seems like Guy Ritchie making a Bond film is like a no-brainer. Like that should happen.
Right. Yeah. Do that and make it more. Let's get some humor and goofiness back. Like I'm a big Roger Moore fan. You know, get some of that goofiness in there.
That's right.
Either that or like, yeah, more Michael Moore. Either that or say fuck it and do a Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie where he's like, you know, in the 70s. Pierce Brosnan still looks great. Just make him Bond again. I would watch those.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But Steve, while I wasn't, I was coming out of the theater being like, Quantum of Solace. I actually do remember this because I got off work that day and I think I fell asleep in the theater because I was kind of bored by the movie. So I didn't really finish it, even though I think it's like a 90-minute movie. But I probably got in my car and I turned on my Pandora, and what do you think was playing, Steve?
Well, Craig, it's probably the number 1 song on the Billboard Hot 100, which could almost be a Bond title. Live Your Life by Texas Instruments featuring Rihanna.
Oh, thank you for letting me live my life, Steve. You know, I think once this podcast wraps up, I always felt that you're going to go far, kid.
Thank you. And so were your children.
You mean my offspring?
That's right, because the number 1 song on the Hot Rock and Alternative Hot 100 is, in fact, You're Gonna Go Far, Kid by The Offspring.
You know, a lot of times on the intros of this podcast, we don't have a great story to tell. So sometimes, you know, maybe, Steve, just tell something that everyone loves to hear, like your dreams.
So I dreamt that I was a unicorn, but my arms were hot dogs?
Okay, maybe not do that.
Okay, well, it was just a dream, much like the number 1 country song on the Hot 100, Just a Dream by Carrie Over Metal. Nope, Carrie Underwood.
It would be Drop Over Metal.
There it is, yeah.
Okay. What was that thing that we used to do like in elementary school? Like we were bored, we just rip a piece of paper out and instead of like throwing like a ball, we would make something else. What would we do?
Would he like make maybe paper airplanes?
There you go.
But then you'd throw them and then you couldn't find them. It's almost like they were missing in action.
Oh, so what are you trying to tell me?
I'm telling you that the Hot Dance Electric song for this week was Paper Planes by MIA.
You know, Paper Planes was a almost like a nightly karaoke song when I was a KJ.
Oh, I can imagine so. That must have been fun.
Yeah, say what you say about MIA, but that song, it's just still a fun song.
It's a good song, and that album that was very good, and like I think she was like a fun thing in the moment. I just wish she didn't go all kooky.
I know there could have been a great tour with her featuring MIA. The artist HER, her.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so Steve, let's just get on with this week's episode. I'm done crossing words with you because we need to talk about Homer and Lisa exchanging crosswords. Lisa discovers she has an impressive knack for solving crossword puzzles as she enters in a citywide crossword tournament. Feelings are hurt, though, when Homer bets against Lisa in the championship match. Not to mention also there's a B story where Homer breaks people up.
Oh, boy.
And a very quick B story, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, I'm going to take a break. I suggest you do the same, and we'll come back and discuss.
Sounds great.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Today we're talking about Homer and Lisa exchange crosswords. It's the 6th episode of the 20th season, originally aired November 16th, 2008. It's episode 426 in the show's run. The nerd code is KABF19. Written by Tim Long, directed by Nancy Kruse, showrunner Al Jean.
Alrighty, Tim Long. We have a history with Tim Long that is extended for a period of time. A good amount of time, you could say. A stretch of time. I don't know the word. But anyway, he was born in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. And he now lives in Exeter, Ontario. He wrote for Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, Late Show with David Letterman, and he was also in the New York Times and the New Yorker. As for The Simpsons, he's written 33 episodes, and this is the 18th that we reviewed. Some of his hits that we have not done. There's Simpsons Bible Story, which we've talked about a lot, that we cannot do because it's still in season 10. The Beloved Behind the Laughter, Half Decent Proposal, Break My Wife Please, Mobile Homer, to name a few. As for episodes we have done, he did the Desperately Seeking Xena from the Treehouse of Horror 10, New Kids on the Block, Skinner Sense of Snow, Bart and Lisa vs. Third Grade, Homer and Ned's Hail Mary Pass, $1 Million AB, She Used to Be My Girl, You Can't Always Say What You Want, and this one, as well as several others. His most recent one is Homer's Adventure Through the Windshield Glass, which was the 22nd and final episode of season 34.
That was a lot that you said there, Steve. You have a lot of crosswords in this episode. I'm glad that you let the fans know exactly where he lives, which is Exeter, Ontario. Do you have his address as well?
123 Fake Street.
Okay. He appeared in the New York Times and New Yorker, but I have held those publications before.
Oh, you've held them like in your hand?
Yeah, I didn't read them.
Oh, no, of course not.
Smart people, yeah.
Like the people who get the New Yorker and just like let it pile up in their bathroom and never open it.
Yeah, look, if any magazine or periodical that I read with the word New York on it, it's going to be the New York Post. That's where I get the truth.
It's where the good news comes from.
Not the fake news.
No, that old gray lady don't know what she's talking about.
Look, Tim Long, there's still, I think, one episode that we're really looking forward to doing that I think people hate more than the Brazil episode or the Simpsons Safari or any of those ones. That is, of course, Lisa Goes Gaga. That's our white whale.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really attainable because we get to say, oh, yeah, we're doing it. But the Wheel of Random has yet to drop it there. And, of course, Lady Gaga herself. Busy schedule, she is filming Joker Part 2, so she didn't have time to talk about it on this podcast. But I think maybe, I have to say there's at least a 0.003% chance that by October we'll do this episode and she'll be on to promote Joker 2.
Yeah, she's expressed a lot of interest, I feel, in wanting to do this show or others. It'd be ideal for her to cross-promote. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to see that Joker movie, so I think she needs to come on here so to get the old annoyed grunt boy bump.
Right, and her and Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, they need that at this point in time because, who cares about a sequel to an independent film like that nobody saw?
Yeah, look, the first one, I think, was made over $1 billion. Like, come on. We all got $1 billion just hanging around,
Yeah. I mean, I lose $1 billion in my laundry just in quarters.
I don't even wake up for $3 billion.
No.
I'm very excited for Joker 2, Steve. We're gonna see that together. It's a date. I won't be bringing the baby to the cinema. Now, our significant others were with us, though, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Okay, I'll bring the baby to the theater.
I mean, it is a R-rated film, presumably, so I don't know if she can see it.
I've shown her so many R-rated things.
Oh, okay.
It sounds weird. No, I mean, she watched the last season of The Boys. She thoroughly enjoyed that.
Good.
You know, any of those movies. Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
She's addicted to screen time. It's my fault.
I mean, like father, like daughter, so it just makes sense.
Yeah, she does like The Simpsons, though.
Good for her.
All right, well, Steve, can we just start the episode?
Alrighty. Let's see. It begins with a couch gag where the Simpsons are dressed in togas and they sit on a bench just as Mount Vesuvius erupts, covering them in ash. And in a little known deleted scene, Mo is also covered in ash, but he's beating off, and you can see him holding his hog.
Am I supposed to believe you, or is that fake?
There's famous image of somebody who was covered in ash in Mount Vesuvius whilst masturbating. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And
in
so,
Pompeii. More like pump.
hey.
Yeah, whereas there also like a couple like banging they found with that.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think that Mo would be the one who would probably get trapped masturbating of the people of Springfield.
Let's be honest, we both would too. If that.
Oh, yes. No problem.
When Mount Hood explodes here, we'll explode. I know other people like be crying and freaking out, but like, well, let's get one more pound off before we're dead.
Yeah. He died doing what he loved, masturbating.
That's what your tombstone's going to say.
Yep.
Well, Steve, let's just begin the episode as an episode, Steve.
Yes.
And it begins, as it always does, with Lisa and Bart opening up a lemonade stand. Bart makes a compelling sales pitch. You buy a cup of the sweet sunshine in your mouth, or he'll punch his sister. And Lisa confirms the threat of violence, but they have no takers. So after punching Lisa in the arm, Bart suggests they prime the pump by putting $1 in their jar, despite Lisa not wanting to lower herself to that of a piano bar. It proves effective, with people coming all over for a cup of lemonade.
Yep, so Cletus orders 15 lemonades until a pregnant Brandine lets him know that they'll actually need a 16th for the soon-to-be Spuckler child. Down the street, Homer reluctantly walks Santa's little helper, saying that if the dog had his way, he'd get a walk every day. Homer then sees the lemonade stand in front of his own house, and so he picks up Santa's little helper and runs through the crowd, pushing and shoving. When he makes it to the front of the line, he orders 6 cups, but Bart and Lisa aren't willing to put it on his tab.
Just a funny Homer being dumb. This is his house.
Yeah.
This is probably, theoretically, he bought this lemonade with his job. Did you ever have a lemonade stand as a child?
I think maybe for a day I had a Kool-Aid stand.
Until the cops arrested you.
No, there's this big fucking red guy. He's like, smashed through the wall and said,
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't just your dad and he was drunk?
oh yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't a red man, it was a guy in a red car. He almost ran me over. Did you ever have any lemonade stand or any like small business as a child?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I ever did. No. Let's move on.
Independently wealthy you were.
I probably maybe attempted one. I'm trying to think. Did I just go out there once with like a glass of lemonade? I'm like, do you want to buy this?
One glass?
Yeah.
It'd be $60.
Yeah. I need a new Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird. It's a weird side tangent, but like inflation for like video games doesn't exist. Like they were always like $50 to $60.
Yeah, which means that like those games then were closer to like $120 now. Like the way like inflation works, because $70 is still a lot of money, but it's not the same amount of money that it was 30 years ago.
No.
So in a way, video games are getting cheaper, unless you're Nintendo, because then they don't lower the prices on anything for their Switch.
So it pisses me off too. It's like, ooh, why can't there be a sale on like certain games? Like, oh, these are on sale on the PS5 or on an Xbox, but then you look at the Switch, it's like, nah, you still have to pay full price, assholes.
Right. It's like a 7-year-old game.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
No, come on, guys.
Weird video game tangent, Steve.
Yeah. We're not a video game podcast.
Although, another side note, I'm very excited that the new Indiana Jones game will be on the Xbox Game Pass, so I don't have to buy it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I saw an ad for that, man. I thought Craig will like that.
Yeah. Game Pass. This is the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Well, Homer shouts that lemonade is for babies and decides that he's going to Moe's for beer. It's a very funny scene. He tries to start the car, but the engine sputters, and he yells to Lisa, asking if he could borrow her bike. And after she gives an indifferent, I guess, Homer rides on the very small child-sized bike, squishing the tires down and struggling to pedal, much like he did in the Season 6 episode, Homie the Clown. And also that time when Homer got a DUI and had to ride his bike to work, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with that episode. Anyways, this episode, I think, takes a lot from other episodes.
Mm-hmm.
When the pedaling proves to be too painful, Homer stands up and the bike seat remains wedged in his asshole. So he shakes it out and enters Moe's when an awkward scene is about to take place.
Hey, Mo, give me a...
Homer, shush. We're watching Krabappel try to break up with Skinner.
Seymour, I have something difficult I want to say to you.
I understand. It can be very difficult for a woman to propose marriage. But I am willing to go halfsies on a ring.
Seymour, excuse me. Any of you lugs want to break up with my boyfriend for me? I'll buy you a beer.
Seymour, Edna asked me to talk to you.
Splendid. Shall we discuss music or the weather?
No, this is about you. Edna wants to break up.
She wants to break up?
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah. Look at it this way. You're a free man. Unlike me. You have all your hair. Unlike me. No kids tying you down or a crippling mortgage that you refinanced at 26% because a dancing internet cowboy told you to. Oh, God, I hate my life.
Gee, compared to you, my life is one big half day.
The emotional range of Homer is hilarious. It starts off, hey, how's it going, Skinner? Sorry to let you know. And then it's like realizing, oh, wait a minute. And then just breaking down and crying.
Let's see. I have no hair. You're way down by kids. So we're like halfway between Skinner and Homer.
And I'm definitely huge now. I'm fat. I think I'm the same weight as Homer. Like, I look in the mirror like, Homer and I have the same body. It's very sad.
I mean, he wears it well, and I'm sure that you do too, so it's all good.
I need to just cut things in half, Steve. I need to stop eating carbs. I need to stop eating sugars. I should just do cocaine and vodka. That should be my diet.
I think so, yeah. That seems to work well for people.
Yeah.
I see no long-term issues with that at all, so yeah. And the great thing about Coke is it's affordable and makes you an enjoyable person to be around.
Thank you.
So, Homer tells Seymour that he is an attractive man with a steady income, and with all of that, however, what lonely widow wouldn't consider him an option? So, Skinner leaves the bar happy, telling Homer that the school prep squad couldn't cheer him up more, and they were state runners-up in 1997, which is kind of funny because that was 9 years before this episode aired, so those students are long gone now. Letty and Carl are impressed with Homer's ability to end relationships, especially since Seymour left happier than when he came in.
Lenny requests Homer's service to break up with his own girlfriend, Doreen, who, according to Moe, has cheated on Lenny with everyone except him. Moe has showered her with gifts, fancy soaps, massage oils, and what have you. Just then, Doreen steps in looking for Lenny, but Homer informs her that Lenny is dead.
Oh.
Doreen is stunned and confused, says she just spoke with him. Homer assures her that she'll speak with him again because he isn't actually dead. But that makes the news of Lenny dumping her a little easier to swallow.
That's true, yeah. I think you should start all bad news with whatever that news is about by saying that person's dead.
But if they actually are dead.
Well, then you're just being honest and direct, and that's respectful too. So, it's a win-win.
Steve.
Yeah.
Your wife's husband is dead.
Not Lenny. We have a one-way open thing going on. It's fine. I don't like it, but what can you do?
Keep watching The Simpsons.
Alrighty. Well, back at the lemonade stand, customers are still clamoring to get refreshment from Bart and Lisa, and their master chef, Maggie, whose secret recipe is her dumping a packet of lemonade mix into a kiddie pool full of hose water and mixing it with their feet. Yum, yum. All seems well until a certain blue-haired lawyer pays them a visit.
Stop that transaction. I'm a part-time field agent with the Springfield Department of Commerce.
Great gig.
It is a great gig. May I see your vendor's license?
I think we don't have one. 35 cents? Where did that come from? Can't be mine. Must be yours.
I don't care. If it's 45 cents, I don't want it. Submit this form to the License Bureau. Until then, this stand is closed, boys.
Jeez, I'm thirsty. You got any lemonade?
Not anymore!
This reminds me of a story I think I read a few weeks ago about a kid who had a lemonade stand. The same situation, and a cop fined the kid $500 because they didn't have a license.
Yeah, I do remember a couple of summers ago when the term Karen was really coming into the parlance of everyday people. There was a lot of TikTok videos of women of a certain age and certain haircut trying to call the cops on, like, usually children of color who wanted to open up a lemonade stand. And they're like, they don't have a permit or they can't do that. Basically because, they're just like low-key racist.
Right.
And yeah, it's just weird. Kids are just trying to like dip their toe into the evils of capitalism. And I think you should let them.
Yeah, Steve. And just to let you know, I will never be low-key racist. I think Tom Bergeron, Tom Hiddleston is a great low-key. Apparently I'm Tom racist.
Yeah. They
all look like Tom. Look, Tom Holland and Tom Hiddleston are both white Englishmen, so.
Tom Jones, too?
Yeah, all Toms are British.
Except for my mom's brother.
And that cat, he's not British either.
Right.
I was just thinking about Blue-Haired Lawyer and how we've never had like a backstory or like an episode where he's like the central character.
You're right. And I think that aside from maybe like Lindsay Naegle, those are like the two characters that I can think of off the top of my head that like haven't had, of like your primary like B or C list Simpsons characters, haven't had a whole episode dedicated to themselves.
I think they should. I think it's about time, Steve. I think you and I will have to write an episode.
Yeah, maybe it can start in a salon where Marge and the lawyer getting their hair did because they both have blue hair. And while they're sitting under the hairdryers, they can bond over something and then go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Who is this man? He doesn't even have a name.
No.
His name is Homer Simpson.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. Lisa heads to the Bureau of Licenses and Permits, where you can drive, marry, and hunt, all for $49.95. Inside, an impatient line forms as Clerk Raphael works on a crossword. Dr. Hibbert tells him that he was halfway through an operation when his medical license expired. So he's in a hurry. I just like that image of he's in an operation that is like looking, no,
dear God,
my license. It's like brain surgery. And then Lizzie Nagel cries out that she left bananas in her car. But Raphael is too caught up in his word game to care. So he tries to work out Tentacross, which is Franklin Roosevelt's middle name. He goes to write excitement, but finds that it doesn't fit.
Oh, it's true, though. When I think of FDR, I think Franklin Excitement Roosevelt. Or Dexcitement Roosevelt, I suppose. So, exacerbated, Lisa offers some help. She takes a crossword and begins to fill it out. FDR's middle name, Delano. Oxidized surface, rusty. Bartenders serve them dirty. So Mo offers the answer, ham sandwiches. But Lisa knows it's actually martinis. So there's just one word to fill out. Singer of Yentl, 13 letters. So after a moment of thinking, Lisa writes out Isaac Bashevis, and then the puzzle is complete. So Lisa demands her license along with everyone else's, and the crowd cheers. Apu asks for a 4-letter word meaning hero, and Mo offers the word hero, which, while technically correct, Apu actually meant Lisa.
You're a fan of the crosswords. If someone like Lisa came in and finished the puzzle for you, you'd be pissed.
Yeah, I figured we'd talk about this. I am a very big fan of crossword puzzles. I do the New York Times crossword, which this will talk about every day. My current streak, not to brag, but I currently have 378-day streak. As far as the app, I've solved 2,150 puzzles. And in my time doing crosswords, I've had experiences where women that I've been with have thought that it'd be a romantic experience to do the crossword puzzle together, but then they get upset because I solve it a little too quickly. And that's how my wife and I knew that we were good together, because we could solve a crossword puzzle together at the same speed. So yeah, that's my little crossword story.
I dabble with crosswords every once in a while, Steve. I let you know I do the Trader Joe's crossword puzzle. Not to brag. That one and TV guide puzzles. Those are pretty tough.
Mark from work.
Hey, her husband died. Give her a break.
Wasn't that tragic?
I'm trying to think of that quote from The Simpsons. You're a big word guy. So this episode is probably like your own jism.
Sure.
It
It is like my cum.
Well, later that evening, Homer receives a phone call from his former roommate, Grady, once again played by Scott Thompson, comedic actor, best known for Kids in the Hall. Homer remembers him as the gay guy, though Grady says that's not all he is, just a lot of what he is. Word has spread about Homer's breakup skills, and Grady wants his help to end things with Julio since he met someone new. And as Duffman steps out of the shower, Grady says his new infatuation is much more cool and refreshing. After taking the proper notes, Homer tells Marge that he's going to a hardcore gay club and won't return till 3 a.m. Marge tells him to have fun. It's one of my favorite scenes. Really funny. Upstairs, Bart pokes his head into Lisa's room, where he learns that she has a new hobby/obsession. On the other side of town, Homer is about to break another man's heart.
Bart, I've fallen in love with crosswords. It finally happened. You've gone completely Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops! That's the answer to 38 down. Toucan's Delight. No, I mean you're loco in the cocoa. Cocoa! Ice rink drink. You're losing it. Losing it! Risque 80s teen flick. Fine, go nuts. See if I care. I care. Optician's concern. Oh, thanks for your help, Bart. Bart, San Francisco People Mover. Speaking of San Francisco People Mover...
Brady is breaking up with me?
You'll always have a special place in his heart.
In his what? Oh, baby, you are the breakup king. You have made the 7 minutes that I'm gonna go without love so much more bearable.
Anyone else want me to get rid of that special someone? Okay, everyone. Rotate one to your right.
That line of Bart kind of breaking the fourth wall is speaking of San Francisco People Mover. It's a funny joke. At the time, San Francisco was considered the gay town.
It's cliched, yeah.
Yeah.
I laughed. That was very funny. You weren't offended by it?
No, as both a crossword fan and a man. No, I was not. And somebody who's been to San Francisco once.
Yeah, I think let's stop with that is cliches. Right now, San Francisco, it's just too expensive there. I mean, God, that town is expensive.
It really is. Like, all those tech bros kind of ruined it. Can't even buy a box of rice-a-roni there.
Some treat that isn't.
Yeah, Tony Bennett left his heart there because he couldn't afford it.
No wonder their house is full. They can't afford another house.
The 49ers are now the 58ers because it's so expensive.
It's so expensive, even Oakland can't afford to have a baseball team.
That's true. Well, Lisa steps into the living room, excited to inform her mother that she is a Kruse herbalist. And Mark is annoyed that Lisa has found yet another religion that she's just going to drop when she goes to college and gets a Jewish boyfriend. And, Lisa agrees that Marge's scenario is likely, but explains that a Kruse herbalist is a fan of crossword puzzles. Lisa is one, and it turns out so is Grandpa, who has been doing them since 1958. And back then they called them alphabet hotels, since every letter gets his own little room. And I want to start calling crossword puzzles alphabet hotels because that's very funny. Egg brags that he does the Springfield Shopper puzzle every day, but Lisa remarks that the real test of skill is the New York Times crossword, edited by Will Shortz. Will and Shortz reminds Abe that Will and Shortz are two things that he's no longer allowed to change himself.
It's kind of funny that Tim Long wrote this episode as Will Shortz.
Hey, the long and short of it.
Oh, man, that sounds like a 70s, 80s cop show.
Yeah. Just a basketball player and a little person fighting crime.
Yeah.
Like maybe Dr. J and Hervé Villachez.
Yeah, maybe. That's exactly what it is. Oh, man. All right, yeah. All right, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
And Hervé Villachez. All right, Steve, let me borrow your time machine. I'm going back to pitch this to Brandon Tartikoff.
I love it.
Yeah, he will love it.
Tuesday nights on NBC after it all new in the heat of the night.
And then I'll tell Tartikoff the exact day he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's nice of me, right?
That is nice. Also tell him to guest star in Saved by the Bell in that one hot episode.
All right. Well, on the school bus, Lisa uses the condensation on the window to write the words bus, ash, and tea, one on top of the other. This creates the word bat, use, and she in the down columns. So Lisa cleans the bus window and decides to focus on the real world. In the real world, however, a magical crossword puzzle unfolds, with clues like androids in dungeon, Kent and Brockman, and Larme, and Lordland. Lisa is impressed, as is Otto, who comments how beautiful it is. Then Bart asks, who's driving the bus? And Otto asks, what bus? And the vehicle swerves down the road.
So this well-directed visuals of crosswords coming to life and this whole episode are kind of inspired by the 2006 documentary Wordplay, which explores in the first half the construction of the daily New York Times crossword puzzle, and then in the second half, the American Crossword Puzzle Tournament, which competitors can win the grand prize of $4,000. And James L. Brooks saw that documentary and Will Short's in it, and that was what inspired him to create this episode.
Now, Steve, you're not one who watches a lot of movies, but did you watch this one?
I did.
And did you masturbate while watching it?
8-letter word for jerking off. Masturbate. Yep, I did.
Was it like a Paul Rubens situation? You're at the theater. You just whipped it out.
It's okay, though, because I had a crossword in my hand, so everyone was just like, yeah, it's fine.
I haven't seen more of your own personal liquid coming out of your body in a movie since Big Fish.
Oh, God. That's a good, mean joke.
Steve didn't like jerk off during that movie. No, he just was crying a lot. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it was around the time my dad was close to death, and it was very emotional for me. So, yeah, I shed a lot of tears. The most
that guy was because that guy was just like your dad.
Right. He was bigger than life and half fish, just like my dad.
And in his younger days was Ian McGregor.
That's right. And addicted to heroin.
Used to show us Hoggalot in movies, too.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much
do that anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to whip it out in the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus, but he never did.
Yeah, Christopher Robbins would have been a lot interesting if he did his own Winnie the Pooh.
He could have done it in Dr. Sleep.
Mm-hmm. Or like Dr. Peep.
Well, working at the nuclear power plant, Homer gets a call asking for his services with his new business, Sweet Conclusions Breakup Service. He tells the potential client that they always dispose of the loved one humanely using the patented tender dump system, which is a pyramid much like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But this one has time on top, followed by ice cream, then booze, and equal parts flattery and lies at the bottom. Homer tells the soon-to-be single person that he'll be there in 30 minutes, or the breakup is free.
At an Isotopes game, Miss Hoover sits with her current boyfriend, who points to the Jumbotron. And the screen asks Miss Hoover to marry the man, but an animated Homer hits the plunger on a dynamite detonator, also called a magneto, and the animation explodes, saying she wants to see other people. Homer runs into the stands to comfort the newly broken-up man. Later, at a wedding, the groom lifts the veil of the bride, only to find Homer sadly shaking his head. And then, at a tattoo parlor, Snake Jailbird gets the word snake plus Gloria forever inked on his back, but Homer pushes the tattoo artist aside to put an N in front of the word ever, spelling never, signifying that Gloria is done with Snake.
Lisa would have liked that because it's wordplay again.
It is.
I didn't know that the dynamite detonator was called a magneto.
I learned it from doing research.
So fucking Stan Lee knew that, and he just fooled us thinking that he created the name Magneto.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it. My problem with the X-Men, I like the X-Men a lot, especially the animated series. But, you got Gambit, who shoots energy. And you got Jubilee, who shoots energy. So many characters are just people who blow things up with energy. And then the one guy who isn't Magneto, his name is a thing that blows up. So, Stan Lee, not very creative.
Thank God he's dead.
That's right. Your cameo in hell.
Magneto's going to be hard to beat in the MCU, right? Like Iron Man is just going to die. He's just going to squeeze Iron Man to death.
Yeah.
Captain America's shield, that's probably pointless against Magneto.
Mm-hmm. And, Juggernaut is just, in the tin can.
Well, Juggernaut's, friends with Magneto. He's part of the brotherhood of evil dudes.
Yeah. Colossus is a good guy, or is, an X-Men, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because he hung out with Deadpool, and I know Deadpool's not officially an X-Men, but, they're on the same side.
And he's not officially in the Avengers either. As seen in Wolverine meets Deadpool, or whatever that movie's called. Spoilers. Well, on the playground of Springfield Elementary, Lisa has filled in all the squares of the hopscotch grids with letters, turning them into a makeshift crossword puzzle. Steve, what do we got there?
We got the words justice, happier, vegan, rebel, practicing, over, think, PTA, cerebral, rights, saxophone, playtime, lemonade, paradox, Jimbo, recess, Ralph, overachiever, rectal, kerboffle, uniter, phys ed, phenomena, and tree.
Steve, what was the word before kerboffle?
Recital.
Thank you. Not rectal.
Damn near killed.
And what was after phys ed?
Phenomena.
Phenomena. Okay. Hey, can we go to a clip, Steve?
Alrighty.
Super Nintendo Chalmers is upset till he learns that he shares an interest with that little girl named Lisa.
Simpson? What in the blue blazes are you doing to my hopscotching grids?
I made them into a crossword.
Oh, well, I'm a bit of a puzzlehead myself. They help me wind down after a day of dealing with Skinner.
You called?
Made reference.
My mistake.
Lisa, I think you might be ready for this.
Bald Man's Basketball League?
Sorry, wrong flyer. I meant this.
Citywide crossword tournament? Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I have to go home and make sure my pool boy is using his skimmer.
You called?
You misheard.
My mistake.
I gotta tell you, Craig, the Bald Men's basketball team, great bunch of guys.
Yeah, it's got you, Steve Harvey, Matt Lauer,
Yeah.
Jared Fogle, O.J. Simpson, Mr. Clean.
Plays dirty.
When's the last time you played some hoops, Steve?
I'll admit it's been a little while.
Yeah.
Like maybe several decades.
All right.
But I did like the Skinner jokes. Those were fun.
Yeah, we're at this time now. It's season 20 that they're still, it's all self-referential jokes, inside jokes. Yep. I'll allow it.
Yeah. So that night in bed, Homer holds up a wad of cash, telling Marge that if he had $100 for every customer he's broken up, he'd have exactly that amount, since that's what he charges. Marge is unsure of Homer's new business venture, saying that it's just too easy for couples to break up just because they hit a rough patch. And Homer tries to comfort Marge with one of his breakup lines, but she's onto him. She wonders aloud what would happen if someone broke them up every time she had doubts about Homer. And so this causes Homer to stay up all night and think about his actions.
So as the evening goes on, Homer is visited by Skinner, Julio, Snake, and other former partners of his clients, or at least the spirits of the relationships he killed. Homer runs out of the bedroom only to find a glowing green babies, the children that those couples would have had. He turns and runs again, only to find the spirits of the antiques the now defunct couple would have bought together. As the spirits surround Homer, Julio instructs the antique chairs and babies to get Homer. Homer wakes up from his nightmare and telling Marge that he's getting out of the breakup business. He then says that he may never sleep soundly again. But before Marge can say anything, Homer is fast asleep and snoring.
I like that the choice of relationships is either you have babies or you have antiques.
Steve, I'll let you know, ever since we've had the baby, we haven't gone antiquing.
See, I thought about you because I know that you and your significant other do enjoy to go antiquing, and now that you have a baby, that is no longer allowed. So, and I used to like to buy babies, but I bought a old antique, and now I can't do that.
Yeah, famously antique malls do not allow babies.
That's right, because they're too young.
Yeah, I mean, mostly because, people will just put them with a collection. Right, is that what? Okay.
This
hey,
is so lifelike.
Yeah.
It's the crossword championships at the Springfield Hyatt, and the following day, it's the Hotel Convention Center invites you to go outside and play. So, various Springfieldians, such as Kirk Van Houten, Sideshow Mel, Hans Bowman, Ruth Powers, Dewey Largo, and Dr. Hibbert, all worked on crossword puzzles in anticipation for the big event. Lisa explains all of this to Homer, who then finds the nearby hotel bar.
Wow, so this is what this is.
Kruse herbalists from far and wide have gathered here for a no-holds-barred test of skill.
Surely some holds are barred.
No, none.
Well, it sounds really exciting, and you're a delightful young lady. Now, if you'll excuse me. Hey, what's going on?
It's kind of a secret, so shut the door most of the way. We found a way to make this tournament interesting. We bet on the matches.
Really? Well, I did bring this envelope full of money. And these days, betting in a bar is safer than any stock, bond, or real estate investment.
Agreed. So, who are you going to bet on?
I want you to put it all on my little girl. And parlay with the Asian kid.
He has a name, you know.
What is it?
I don't know. He's not my kid.
I love that line. We got a little secret thing going here, so shut the door most of the way. And also the Asian guy not just referencing that, the kid has a name, even though, not all Asian people know each other. So it's good.
But it's just Homer being racist because he thinks that, of course, it'd be his kid.
Exactly.
But I guess it's the assumption, like, these are all parents of some of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa faces off against Dr. Hibbert, easily winning. Homer watches from the bar, accepting his winnings, knowing the best time for a prudent gambler is to walk away never. As Cameo's Word Up plays, Lisa works her way up the ranks of the crossword championship, while Homer wins more and more cash. In the montage, Marge, Homer, Bart, and Maggie sit in the front row, each wearing a letter on their sweatshirts spelled Isla, and a Swiss puzzler looks from the stage happy for the support, till Marge and Homer switch places to spell Lisa. Homer continues to rake in the money and Lisa keeps competing, Bart feeding alphabet cereal in between rounds, and Lisa thinks that she may have just win. But as she tells her father, she's prone to self-sabotage. I said sabotage over sabotage. It's a William Shatner reference.
Dad, I could actually win this thing.
And when you win, I win. I'll explain that to you on your deathbed.
My only fear is I always sabotage myself when I'm on the verge of happiness.
You what?
In my young life, I've seen that every time I'm about to achieve true happiness, some little piece of me says, you don't deserve this. And another little piece says, I agree.
Right. But will it happen this time?
With my luck, I bet it will. It's practically a sure thing.
Contestants, to your boards.
Wish me luck.
Just be yourself. I want to change my bet. I'm going against my daughter.
Homer just assumes that he's going to outlive his own daughter. He says, I'll tell you on your deathbed. And it's sad.
Also, I know that when he initially bet, he had the envelope of Sweet Conclusions money, which is a good justification for the beginning plot, which kind of is done with. But I like that when he goes to change his bet, he now has a sack with a $sign on it, the Universal cartoon sign of money. So the bartender/bookie agrees to take Homer's money, but won't look him in the eye. And Homer accepts that, but he also won't look the bookie in the eye. So both men look away as the bookie reaches out his hand, and Homer offers the cash, also not looking. And so they both push their hands forward, blindly trying to connect until the stack of cash is placed firmly in the bookie's mouth.
Here you go, Steve. Close your eyes. I shoved paper money in your mouth.
Ugh. Gross. It tastes like strippers and pockets and disappointment.
Where do you think I got it from?
The disappointed stripper pocket?
Disappointed. Yes, exactly. The tournament is down to two final contestants, Lisa and good old Gil Gunderson. But before they can begin, an Oscar-style in memoriam is held for the words that have been removed from the dictionary the past year, such as
skedaddle,
Nixonian,
zounds,
mimeograph,
and hootenanny.
Steve, do words get murdered from the dictionary?
I think very rarely. Usually if they're proved to be offensive or problematic, but more often than not, words are added to the dictionary, probably recently Riz or skibbity toilet or whatever the kids these days say. So before they begin their respective puzzles, Gil tells Lisa he wasn't originally the word puzzle pro in the house, which gives Lisa a false sense of confidence.
You know, my wife Shirley, she's the real crossword ace in our family. Fills in those letters fast as hail on a tin roof. Ping, 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 she's done. Shirley passed away 2 years ago, but I'm still not over it.
Oh, that's so sad.
Hey, what can you do? Life keeps changing the music, but you gotta keep up the cha-cha-cha, huh? Hey, da-da-da. Let's see, I'll spread some cues around. That'll get my brain going. Oh, I dropped my glasses. Oh, Shirley, baby, I let you down.
Hey, there are no lenses in these glasses.
Let's see, that's Enrico Fermi, and there you got the Pet Shop Boys, and Cross the T, and Zing the Z, and Skit Scat Scoodly. I'm all the way home.
Lisa got hustled. Oh, I blew it again.
Fucking Gil.
Ah, Gil, you jerk.
I know he was just pulling a big old ruse there. Mm-hmm. But he's like, I just throw some cues around. Is that how you do crossword? Start putting in letters. Okay, I know this is going to be here.
Yeah, why not? Just some Q's, some X's, some Z's. get those out of the way first, and then you put them in. Actually, I don't like either one of their techniques because Lisa's starting in the bottom right corner of a crossword, and nobody in the right mind would ever do that. It's weird. You start on the top left and you work your way down.
You start with 1-1. Yeah, one across.
My strategy is I go across as much as I can, and then when I get stuck, I go down.
Have you started going down, Steve?
Not first time, I mean.
Save that for the Sundays.
Exactly, it's longer.
Well, from the bar TV, Homer sees that Lisa did in fact blow it again, which means big winnings for him, which the bartenders give him, saying that they are drenched in his daughter's tears. Homer finds the bartender/bookie to be quite judgmental.
So the next day, while waiting for the school bus, Bart and Lisa notice a pep in Homer's step. Bart thinks he seems awfully happy, and Lisa remarks that he bought new shoelaces with fancy metal tips. And Lisa, they're called aglets, and any Kruse verbalist would know that. Come on. So Lisa confronts her father, asking if he's recently come into some money, and Homer gasps and denies it, but Lisa notices highlights in the strands of Homer's remaining hair, and Homer says that the sun caused that. But Lisa also notices that his car antenna has been straightened and reballed. Craig, have you been recently straightened and reballed?
No, but remember car antennas?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they really exist like that anymore.
I don't think so. I mean, do people listen to the radio in cars that much? And if so, it's probably like through a satellite, I guess?
Yeah, that exists. But you're right. The antenna balls. I just remember getting like Jack in the Box and had to get my Jack ball.
Exactly.
But then people would steal it.
Yeah.
Jerks. Jerks, I call them.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad broke off the car antenna of one of his cars and gave it to me to play with as a sword, which is incredibly dangerous because it's a very pointy end, and I literally could have poked my eye out.
Did you play it as a lightsaber since they were extendy?
This was such an old one; it wasn't retractable. It wasn't it wasn't periscopy. It was just always up, and so yeah, it's like from a Volkswagen Squareback or something. But yeah,
how was he ever going to listen to his Rush Limbaugh with that antenna gone?
Please, it was Paul Harvey back in the day.
Yeah.
Good day.
Lisa demands an answer, and Homer tells her Daddy made a little extra money betting against her at the crossword tournament. He tells her that she'll understand once she's a parent placing large wages against her own children. And Homer says that he hopes Lisa isn't mad, and with a blank face, she says she's not, and then walks away without any emotion.
So later, Lisa sits on her bed in the dark when Homer pops in to ask if she's sure she's not mad. And once again, she looks straight ahead and calmly tells Homer that she's not mad. So as Lisa hops over a jump rope propelled by Sherry O'Terry, Homer once again joins her and asks again and again, and she says that she's not mad. And then later, at a tea party in the backyard, Homer asks the teddy bear, Mr. Teddy, to ask Lisa if she's mad. And then he learns from the stuffed animal that when women say that they're not mad, they're madder than ever. Homer sees that Lisa has walked away and then asks Mr. Teddy for a ride home, since he's a little drunk. Homer then brings Lisa a present at school, only to learn that she's made a little change.
Lisa, sweetie, please look at your daddy.
You stopped being my daddy as soon as you bet against me. All I have now is a mom, which is why I'm taking her maiden name. From now on, I'm Lisa Bouvier.
Hey, Mr. S. Lisa B.
No!
Would you like to buy some band candy?
Yes! Lisa's mad at me, and now she's using Marge's maiden name instead of mine.
Homer, whatever you done to that little girl, you just gotta do something even nicer to win her back. She may never take back your name, but there's still a chance she'll take you back as a daddy.
Wow, nobody gives better parenting advice than childless drunks.
So the name Lisa Simpson is available, huh? A lot of goodwill attached to that name. I'm gonna take it. Lisa's Tavern, Lisa speaking.
I enjoy the Homer shouting, no, and then, do you want to buy some band candy? Yes. Good stuff.
And Lisa's already pissed off at Homer, and the fact that he's going to buy candy from another girl that's in the band instead of his own daughter, it's kind of messed up.
It's a really good point, yeah.
That would have been a funny scene. It's like, and you're buying band candy, not from me. Okay. Well, Lisa sits on the couch despondent, wearing a shirt that says Lisa B. Marge is honored that her daughter chose her name, but feels it's not that great. She tells Lisa in high school the boys would call her Marge Bouvier. Lisa responds that Bouvier was Jackie Kennedy's maiden name, which was news to Marge. It's a very funny joke. I mean, obviously the reference to, when they created The Simpsons, that her last name was Bouvier was because of Jackie Kennedy.
Right, and you mentioned, the crossword puzzle, the New York Times crossword puzzle, and Jackie O, her husband just died.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's funny.
And, of course, Lisa's middle name is Marie, based off of Lisa Marie Presley.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she assumed that it was Jackie O, like SpaghettiOs. And that's where her money came from. She tries to cheer up Lisa by inviting her to do a New York Times crossword puzzle. Lisa states that she's done with crosswords. Her innocence dying in those 441 little boxes.
Oh. But Marge thinks that doing a crossword puzzle could be a fun way to kill a couple of hours. But Lisa confidently says that she can do the Sunday puzzle in less than 1 hour. She takes the puzzle, and 43 minutes later, she's arrived at the last clue. Loses on purpose. So she writes the answer, diets, and then giggles at the pun, calling Will Shortz a clever rascal. And then she notices something unusual about that crossword puzzle.
Wait a second. Dumb Dad sorry for his bet. Wow, it's almost as if Dad planted that message. No, it must just be a weird coincidence. But what if it's not? Oh, it must be. Or mustn't it not? Dad, I know this is crazy, but did you plant a message to me in the New York Times crossword puzzle?
Well, I had a little help from this guy.
New York Times crossword editor Will Shortz! And master puzzle constructor Merle Regal!
I actually wrote that crossword. And I edited it. Now get back to crosswording. Yes, sir.
Well, I must admit, I'm kind of touched. Dumb Dad sorry for his bet. Nice.
Before we get to that clip, Steve,
yeah,
Lisa does the New York Times crossword puzzle, 43 minutes. What's the fastest you do a Sunday puzzle? Our fans want to know.
Oh, I would say for a Sunday puzzle, my best time is probably like around 10, 11 minutes.
I think you would say 10 hours.
No, but I'd say, like, honestly, 20 to 25 is probably usual for me for a Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, see, the thing is, and this is going to be really exciting, Sunday puzzles aren't necessarily hard or difficult. They're just long because there's a lot of clues. But there are different days, like Monday is obviously the easiest, and then Tuesday and Wednesday get progressively harder. And then Thursday and Friday, they a lot of times do themed things. And then Saturdays are difficult because there's never a theme. So, like, I really feel like the midweek is like the real true test of skill.
What's a Monday puzzle for you? How long does that take?
I usually aim for 4 minutes.
Is that just like when you're doing your morning constitutional in your restroom?
I would like to say yes, but actually I have a very anal procedure in which I do it because I go through all of the New York Times puzzles, starting with Wordle, and then I go to connections, then I do the crossword mini, then I do spelling bee, and then I do the big game, which is the actual puzzle. I'm real cool.
What about Sudoku, Steve? Are you cool with Sudoku?
Numbers are letters. Fuck off.
Wow, that's a lot of things I didn't know about.
Yeah, I'm married somehow.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time. It's impressive.
Like, you need to do this from your personal cellular telephone, right?
Yes, I specifically pay for a New York Times subscription. I say it's so I can read the articles.
But you just look at the boobs.
Exactly. If boobs are, 9 across, 5-letter word for titties.
I was going to say, the only boobs that I see in the New York Times are our politicians.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Not a political podcast.
So you don't get like a physical copy of the NYT?
Not really. I've got no issue with it, and I know that some purists prefer to do it on paper, but I've gotten so accustomed to doing it digitally, it just makes more sense for me.
But in that clip, Steve, we got to see Mr. Shortz himself.
And a crossword guy.
Merle Regal?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the name before, but I will say as famous as Will Shortz is to the everyday Americans, I don't feel like Merle Regal is as famous.
Is like Will Shortz the Bob Kane, and Merle Regal is the Bill Finger?
Yes, that is the perfect analogy.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm Batman, yes.
Yeah. Bob Kane created Batman, but in reality it was Bill Finger who created most of the Batman mythology as we know it today.
Right.
And now he's actually being credited as creating Batman along with Bob Kane.
Right. Now, I think it's kind of equally unfair because a whole slew of people do write the New York Times crossword puzzle every day. It's a rotating group of people, but Will Shortz gets all the fame because he edits it, but like they're the actual artists of the puzzle.
It's like comic books. J.J. Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson. Peter Parker takes the photos.
That's right.
Who gets all the credit. Enough of my comic book, Steve. Well, Will Shortz then informs Lisa that she didn't get Homer's whole message. She tells him to look at the first letters of all clues. She does so and finds that the messages from Homer say, "Dear Lisa, you make me so happy. Really, really, really happy. Sorry, he told me I need 144 letters. What was my point again? Oh, right. Movie or Simpson, I cherish you." So Homer really doesn't, do all the hard work. He writes this little thing, and then Will Shortz and Merle Regal have to figure it out, right?
Yes, but here's a really cool thing. While I'm talking about cool things like crosswords, the puzzle that Lisa solved was turned into an actual real puzzle that was put into the New York Times on Sunday, November 16th, 2008, and the clues actually do spell out, "Dear Lisa, you make me so happy, really, really, really happy. Sorry, he told me it needed to be 144 letters. What was my point again? Oh, right, movie or Simpson, I cherish you." It actually works. And then also before the clue that she said, dumb dad, all of that is true. And so I just love the attention to detail there. Really cool.
So if this was 2008 and you had the copy of the New York Times and did this, and you saw that and it was weird, and you watched this new episode that day, your mind would have probably been blown, right?
Oh, yeah. Even just going through the archives and realizing that it was true and then doing the puzzle, it was really neat.
Oh, so you did the puzzle. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's exciting, Steve.
Yep.
This episode is just covered in your jism. Touched by Homer's efforts, Lisa tearfully hugs her father as Will and Merle work on a puzzle together. And that's the end of the episode, Steve.
Ooh, wow.
We should take a break and then discuss this episode in depth.
I like it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Cherish is a word I use to describe all the feeling that I have hiding here for you inside.
All right, folks, we're back. Let's wrap up this week's episode. Homer and Lisa exchange crosswords. We'll talk about some of our favorite scenes, maybe some characters that made us laugh, give them the Covenant MVJ Most Valuable Jokester Award. Then we'll give a little review, find out what we're watching next week. But before all that, we like to find something from this episode that could be turned into a gift, something physical that would be an awesome thing to sell. Because that's what America is about, is capitalism.
Yay!
Well, this one, Steve, I thought I would gift you something that needs to be done to your body.
Oh.
And something that your body's going to do. So, Steve, I'm getting you a awesome, either you could be full chest or full back tattoo with the word Cruservable List tattooed in Old English font on your back or your chest, So you kind of look like a cool biker dude.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
Also, I'm sending you to the National Crossword Tournaments where you could win $4,000.
Woohoo! Of course, probably the travel and lodging to get me there probably cost more than $4,000, but I appreciate the thought.
What we're going to do is I'm going to buy an old station wagon and we're going to road trip there while I have a camera crew taping us. So we'll just turn it into a cool documentary. Nice. It's like a vacation. National Lampoon's Vacation meets a crossword puzzle documentary.
I'd watch the hell out of that. That sounds great.
That old trope.
Mm-hmm.
Also, because you get that tattoo, you have to perform the crosswords topless.
Oh, well, of course. All right. I usually do anyway.
Two gifts.
Yeah. Well, Craig, for you, I think that, you deserve some of the finer things in life. So I got you some new fancy metal aglets. And then I also got your car antenna straightened and reballed because I gotta say, you were looking a little bendy and your balls were not looking as fresh as they could be. So you're now straight and reballed.
Thank you. I could use some reballing.
Couldn't we all?
Well, Steve, I need to know what made you laugh in this episode.
Well, quite a bit, actually. I really enjoyed Lisa laughing at the jokes of crossword puzzles like lose on purpose, diet, Grandpa's line about how Will and shorts are two things that he's not allowed to change for himself anymore. But if I had to give it a most valuable jokester, I really enjoyed the interaction of the bookie/bartender and Homer, and just that whole group of people, like the guy saying, like, this is a little secret, so keep the door mostly closed, and just the bookie being offended but still accepting Homer's bet. A fun use of kind of a tropey plotline of Homer betting on a family member to lose. So I'm going to give it to him, but there's a lot of fun stuff. What about you, Craig?
Is it weird that, like, the B story is Homer becoming a professional breakup artist, and then that story's done, and then it becomes him gambling on against his daughter?
It is a little weird, yeah.
It's like they were just, like, coming up with B stories for this episode. Maybe, like, the whole episode wasn't as packed as they wanted to be, and just... Just thinking about it now, like, what a weird way to go. Because I feel like this episode for you, you're biased because of the crossword. So is this going to be a fair review?
I am a little biased, and I do think that it's a little more difficult for me to, like, give a fair judgment.
I'll give you my likes from this episode, and that's, of course, Isla part.
Oh yeah,
and the Swiss girl was thinking that she was being supported by the Simpsons family, but no, I think that might have been my favorite scene. And I do like the beginning with Homer and the lemonade stand. I like how Homer's like, fine, lemonade's for kids. I'll go to Moe's. Which, of course, as adults, we would rather go to a bar and drink alcohol than lemonade.
Yeah.
I mean, lemonade still serves its purpose for me. Like, if it's a summer day and there's something nice and like nice cold glass of lemonade, and I don't need it to be spiked.
Right.
I used to eat that Country Time lemonade powder as a kid, like the spoonful. And you're right, the Grandpa Abe Simpson stuff was great. Most valuable jokester, Gil, I hated in this episode. He was such a jerk.
He was.
So he'll get most MBJ, most valuable jerk. But most valuable jokester, it could be Lisa, but it also could be Homer. You know what? I'm going to give it to Merle Regal, because Will Shortz gets all the attention.
Oh.
That being said, Steve, what did you think of this episode in general?
Well, see, here's the thing is, as we were talking, I am a bit of a cruciverbalist myself, and so to have an episode surrounding crossword puzzles is going to be a big draw for me. But then you throw in an award style in memoriam, my favorite part of any award show, and it's about words. Like, it was made for me. Homer betting against his daughter is kind of tired, and yeah, Gil was upsettingly jerky in this episode, but I feel like that kind of, like, you're supposed to hate him. So I think that the plot is a little goofy, but I think it works really well. I think the jokes are funny. This is a draw for me just because it so much speaks to my interests. So I'm going to say that this is a watch for me. If I had to give it a score, so in the history of the New York Times crossword puzzle, there have been roughly 27,320 puzzles. So out of 27,320, I'm going to give this a 2669.
It's definitely season 20 for me is always kind of like a miss season. But this episode, you're right, it's a lot of fun. And, well, it shares similarities with a lot of, like, older Simpsons episodes. I feel like maybe the, like, Lisa and Homer betting kind of one, because, gambling, again, plays the thing. But Homer is a degenerate gambler. I mean, all the Simpsons are gamblers.
Yeah.
At least Marge admits it. But yeah, just the weird, like, B story turn. But fun to see some classic characters again, like Grady and Julio.
Oh, yeah.
Doreen. Lenny's ex-girlfriend now. You're talking about, you like seeing the in memoriam segment, and like award shows always have that. Why don't they do like a bit where it's after the in memoriam, they'll do like births of future celebrities, and it's like a joke. I guess like Jimmy Kimmel doing it's like it's a joke. It's just those like baby photos with like names like future actress, future actor, future stage designer. Show like a little kid with like big glasses and be like future producer. I don't know.
Yeah. And just think in 22 short years, this baby will be Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend.
Yeah, there you go. See, why don't we write for the Oscars?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Weird tangent I had in my head when you talked about that. That's why we don't like the Golden Globes. They never have an in memoriam.
That's right. And it's a dumb award show.
Do the Kids' Choice Awards, like Nickelodeon, do they have in memoriams? But if I had to give this a ranking, look, Steve, you're Steve, but you're no Dan Fayer. Dan Fayer is an American crossword puzzler solver and editor who's considered by some to be the world's fastest crossword solver.
Duh.
Is he like you're like Michael Jordan? You're like you're a superstar like sports guy.
Yeah,
is he the Shohei Ohtani of crosswords or the Aaron Judge? Like if you went to Comic-Con, like a convention, you know, like people like me, like William Shatner or Mark Hamill, you know, because like they played their heroes as a kid. But if you meant Dan Fayer, would you just like come in your pants?
Yes.
You want a lot of coming in this episode from you, Steve. There's me projecting that on you. Not me projecting cum on you, but, you know.
It's me projecting cum onto you. Yeah, no, I mean, what I like about crossword puzzles and word games in general is that, like, you can have famous names, but you never identify them as a person. So they could be horrible people. They could be nice people. You don't know because it's just a name. And I like that it removes like the humanity from people.
Yeah. Well, this Dan Fayer guy, Steve, did you know his average time for the papers? Saturday is 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Sunday is 5 minutes and 38 seconds. His Monday one is 1 minute and 22 seconds on a computer, but on paper it's 1 minute and 58 seconds.
Wow.
Out of 5 minutes and 38 seconds, Steve, I challenge you to get your crossword done in 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Nice.
So that's my score.
I like it.
But will we like next week's episode?
Oh,
hard to tell because we don't know what it's going to be.
Oh, no.
We're going to need that wheel of random to find out what season and episode we're watching.
Alrighty. Let's give it a spin to see which season we're in.
All right, Steve, we got season 12.
Oh, going back in time.
Yes. Let's go find what episode.
All right, let's give it another spin.
Episode 13. Lucky 13, Steve.
Oh, lucky 13.
All right. Season 12, episode 13. What do you think the title will be?
Well, this episode that we watched today was all about a word game, so maybe next week's will be about a number game, and maybe it also is a tie-in with another popular show. So I think next week's title will be Sudoku Think You Can Dance.
That's a very funny title. But of course, it's not right, Steve. You're not right in the head.
Ah.
It's called Day of the Jackanapes. Day of the Jackanapes, Steve. What do you think that even means?
Well, as we all know, a jackanape is a monkey, an ape, or, you know, an imprudent or conceited fellow, or always a saucy or mischievous child. So I'm going to say that Springfield announces that April 22nd is International Monkey Day, which is great for people like Mr. Teeny, but not so great for Homer because everyone thinks that he's a dumb ape, and so he has to prove his intelligence by going on a game show. But the game show he goes on is Fear Factor, and we get special guest star Joe Rogan, who is totally fine and not problematic at all.
In the year that this was produced, 2000, well, it's probably produced in the year 2000, he was still normal, not roided out.
Right, he was just feeding bugs to people.
Yeah. No, Steve, you're wrong, of course. In this episode, Marge is at the salon when blue-haired lawyer guy is getting his hair done and needs advice from the Simpsons. No, Steve, that's a reference to this episode we just did. It's actually when Sideshow Bob, hey, we got a Sideshow Bob episode. We've only done a couple, I think. Sideshow Bob is released from prison, which I guess could be like any Sideshow Bob episode from now, right?
Yeah.
He sits about hypnotizing Bart in order to kill Krusty the Clown. I feel like I've seen this one before. I probably have many times.
I feel like I have as well.
And have we reviewed this one yet?
No, I think, and I could be wrong, I feel like the only Sideshow Bob episode that we've done is the weird one where he pretends to be a neighbor by sewing a face onto his own face. Face on.
Yeah. Well, that was the one with all the Frasier cast on it.
Yes.
Huh. Well, we're going to say goodbye to our listeners and tell them to contact us on social media like Instagram or Threads or YouTube at 138Simpsons or email us at 138Simpsons@gmail.com.
And hey, if you want to, you can reach out to us Just go to the show's notes, leave us a voicemail. You can, send us a crossword clue or send us a crossword answer. Say whatever you want. And hey, while you're there, go to your podcatching app, leave us 5 stars or the equivalent. But you don't have to write a real review. Just tell us how you would break up with your partner.
Check out some merchandise at tpublic.com/user/annoyedgruntboys. For this week, I've been Annoyed Gruntboy Craig.
And I've been Annoyed Gruntboy Steve.
And remember, nobody gives better parenting advice than childless drunks.
Guess what, Mom? I'm a Kruse verbalist.
Now get back to crosswording.